Okay. Okay, little mama. So we've begun this week working on our basic principles of leash manners. We have the lead on, we have it fit. We're keeping the dog to one side, keeping a loose heel, and we have our grip secure. So, yeah, first things first, we'll be fitting it, which I showed you guys. So it's up above the collar, as you can see. The loop is up on top of the head. The spring-loaded stopper is taut so that the lead doesn't slip off. Yeah, and that's about it for fitting, so always start with that. And then second would be your grip, right? As you can see here, I have the loop. I have my hand through the loop, essentially, and then I grab the lead knot there. That allows for this sort of structure. I don't see this very often. Hi, bud. I don't see this very often, so I do want to point out that the grip you may not see a bunch of places, but it's yeah, something that I would say is it's extremely helpful. It allows for you to be comfortable and for you not to be adding any accidental pressure to the dog, right? Anytime near us, no pressure. I have to say, for as young of a dog as she is, this walk is going extremely well. She is definitely nowhere near pulling my arm off. She's not even really that interested in walking that far out ahead of me, which is great. And all I'm doing after we fit it properly and after we get our grip right, I'm just maintaining a couple basic boundaries, and that's it. So she really hasn't gone far enough ahead for me to show you anchoring yet, but if she does, I'll point it out and explain that when we get to it. But I'm definitely not going to trick her into doing it just to show the video. Just trying to keep that loop on top. That's what that was all about. It's just a couple basic principles when we're walking. Obviously, we don't want the dog way out ahead of us. We want to greet things together. So we need to make sure that, hey, good girl. We need to make sure that we establish that early and often. We want to greet things together so as not to develop any reactivity or things of that nature, which puppy doesn't come stock with. Those are things habits that form over time due to, mistakes or events. So she's a little out ahead there, but good girl. But she's self-regulating really well. So she has gone out a little ahead a few times, but keeps checking back in with me and coming right back to where she should be, and that's fine. We can just keep on moving. But if she were to be way out ahead of us, we would anchor and get her back into a decent heel, loose lead heel. The second principle, I would say, in order of importance, would be maintaining the dog on one side of you, which I mentioned a moment ago. I choose my right side because I'm right-handed. But easy enough to switch. I would suggest keeping her on the right side, at least until the loose leash walking is down. If you do happen to be left-handed and you want to switch it later, it's very easy. But just for training purposes, let's keep her on our right. I'm just better with my right hand. Easier to maintain. Expectations. Oh, good girl. Potty break. No problem. Good job. In the grass, too. Very good. Yep, so maintaining on one side. The reason that we disallow cross-cutting, right, so that would be cutting over to my left side in this example, so she's walking on my right, either in front of me or behind me, is because we want to minimize the options that she has at her disposal direction-wise, so that we can sort of minimize the walk itself, the world itself, in a way. She's young, everything's new and exciting, and that can lead to a lot of leash pulling, that can lead to a lot of reactivity. But if we at least set the basic principle of you can't pull way out ahead of me and you can't cross-cut for or behind, well then at least she knows that she's got to digest the world in this little pocket of a space here, right? So let's say super crazy dog starts walking next to me over here, for example. If we are allowing cross-cutting, are letting our dogs just walk any direction. Oh, leash is tangled, there you go. She might feel the impulse and act on the impulse to run across me and go react to super crazy dog, right? Because we haven't set any expectations on leash. Good mama. All right, so we want to, as early and as often as we can, get out ahead of that behavior, right? It's always easier to work on the precursors to bad behavior than it is the bad behavior itself. So let's try to set our expectations now. Not that there's two dogs coming up, not that they're crazy, but they are on our left side. So let's kind of just see what she does, right? We've held this expectation the whole walk that she's got to stay over on the right. And I'm letting her sniff and smell things. That's all plenty okay. It allows her to relieve some stress and build an index of different smells and textures. And pass those two, no problem. That's what I love to see. Again, not that she's coming in with reactivity, but it's always something that's easier to prevent than it is to treat. So let's just go ahead and prevent it. I don't know if I mentioned this at the last crosswalk. I don't think I did, but good girl. I want to give a little auto stop at the streets just to make sure she doesn't run out into traffic. Perfect example here. Guy was turning. She wasn't paying attention. Without us advocating, she would have ran straight into traffic. Here's a good example. We can see if she keeps up with the... Well, not really. Still haven't been able to show you the anchor. I mean, she darts out ahead a couple times like you just saw, but then she's great about, checking herself and going, oh, I should check back in with my person, and that wasn't good. So remember to mark and reward that. If we let those things go unnoticed, she's going to just stop doing them. So when she gets out ahead like that, good girl, but then she comes back and makes eye contact and re-engages, mark the re-engagement and reinforce it with reward in terms of praise, right? In terms of one of the 3 P's there. Not really are we going to be bringing out our clicker and clicking and paying on walks. That's more like if we are already in troubled areas and we have some not so great behavior already developed, then we can bust out food to kind of distract. Little stop at the street. Good job. That was incredible. I didn't even get to a point of leash tension. And then after the stop, she gets a little jumpy. And then she comes right back. Keeping her on that right side. Keeping leash expectations down. Watch the crossover because we got a barking dog. But that's the type of stuff that, you know, the work over time ends up really saving you a lot of trouble, right? So she kind of just looked at that dog that was barking on the porch instead of, maybe I had never set the expectation that she can only walk on one side. So she sees barking dogs, she goes, that's interesting, and she jolts right across from me. And that just leads to more hassle, right? More chaos, more just unnecessary stuff. So we want to keep her on one side. We want to keep her with a loose lead. As you see, the leads have been slack probably 95% of the time. We keep our grip sound as such. Again, not a super common grip, so one that I want to point out. And make sure we fit the lead right. And getting the right size lead is always important. This is a perfect size for her. 1/4 inch, 5 feet long, spring-loaded stopper. And, you know, definitely being all right with the stops and sniffs. I'm not going to perceive that as bad behavior or undesired behavior unless she starts pulling me in directions to sniff stuff. If she just wanders over, wants to smell a corner, a leaf, something like that, no problem at all. You know, it's our walk. We want her to get as much out of it as we do. Let her sniff, let her smell. Let her be a dog. But if she starts going, wow, that's really interesting, I need to get over to that immediately, and she pulls our arm to get over there, we would anchor and reset, which just means, again, I haven't been able to physically show you, but it just means stopping and waiting for her to come back to us, which she's already done on her own quite a lot, probably just because we've done a few sessions with anchoring. Good girl. Let her look at the bike kit and build that index, that's fine. Oh, sorry. But we don't want it to be to a point where it's, you know, she's going to get much bigger. So we don't want it to get to a point where she is pulling us to get the things that she's interested in. If she's interested in them, she can alert to them. You know, we can read that body language and go, all right, cool. You want to go over there? I saw you look at it. Maybe she anchored maybe a little bit, like for smells. And as long as she's not pulling, go let her smell it. You know, go let her check it out. Good job. I mean, I would say that probably in the last 10 years, this is one of the best heels for this aged dog. I don't really think he gets much better. I'm barely holding the lead. She's almost right in stride. All good stuff. Noise from the garage, it's okay, let her check it out. You know, the world is new, right? So definitely giving her the environment to ingest as much as she can. That's great. But at the same time, we don't want to let her get obsessed with stuff. So let her look at it, let her perceive it, and then kind of just move along, right? Make sure that we're coming across to her that it's no big deal, right? Or it's coming across to her that it's no big deal. We don't want her to become fixated on anything, really. Kids on bikes, dogs, people. Give her a fair chance to, good girl, that heel is, wow. Give her a good chance to check things out, but don't let her obsess over them. So keep her kind of moving. Good job. Great heel. Completely loose leash. 10 out of 10. No complaints. I don't think I anchored once during that. Honestly, we just kind of put the lead on and we started working, so it was fantastic. Give her a little break. Oh, good girl. What do you do so good? You're a champion. A++. All fairly simple stuff, but you know, I wanted you guys to see it firsthand. And obviously, if you have any questions, anytime, reach out. But that was, yeah, that was golden. Great work.